whose solution is shown by the graph. Now, if you remember back in chapter 4, to write an equation to a line, you need to have the slope and the y-intercept. And we could do it a lot of different ways. You could have 2 points, and then you could determine the slope first and then the y-intercept. On problems like this, we're going to try to do them visually. And so when you're doing them visually, the first thing you need to do is try to find your y-intercept. And in this case, we can find out where our inequality is crossing the y-axis. It's right here at -1. So we can start our inequality. We can say y. All right, we're going to choose less than because the shading is below the dashed line. And it's less than because, again, it's dashed line. Numbers across around this line will not make the solution true. Okay. Our y-intercept is going to be -1, and we'll put our x in here. We know it's going to be a positive slope. We'll put x minus 1 in here for now until we determine the slope. Now, to determine the slope, we have to find 2 points. We already have one at -1, and we're going to find another spot where it crosses at a point, and it looks like it crosses right here. So to determine my slope, I need to find my rise over the run, and my rise, I go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So my slope is 3 over 1, so my slope in this equation is going to be 3. Now, to make sure that we've shaded it correctly, let's check 0, 0. When I check 0, 0 here, is 0 less than a -1? And the answer is that's untrue, and where 0, 0 is, it's not part of the shading, so we know that our shading is correct. Today we're going to look at writing an inequality whose solution is shown by the graph. And you can see in the graph we have a shading up above, we have a solid line. So the solid line tells us that it's going to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. The shading above would lead me to believe it's going to be greater than or equal to by looking at it. To write the equation to a line, we need to find the y-intercept and we need to find the slope. In the line that we have here, or the inequality that we have here, let's take a look at the line. First of all, we can determine the y-intercept of where it crosses the y-axis, and it crosses it at 2. So let's start. We can write y, we'll say is greater than or equal to, and we know it's going to be, we can put our x, and we can say plus 2 because that's our y-intercept. So we've determined our y-intercept. We are going with greater than because it's shaded up above. Now we can check that later by plugging in a point. All right. Now let's determine our slope. So let's look at our rise and our run. So if we look at our rise, all right, the rise right here is 2, and the run is 3. Now it's a negative slope. Right? So we're going to say that it's a negative. Get in here, -2/3 x plus 2. Right, so y is greater than or equal to -2/3 x plus 2. Now let's check to see if point 0, 0, since 0, 0 is not one of the solutions, when 0, 0 is put in here, it should be untrue. So let's see what happens here. Let's put 0. Is 0 going to be greater than or equal to, all right, 2, because when we put 0 in there for x, that becomes 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to 2? Is that true? And that is false, so therefore we know that our shading is correct, that it should be above the line.